Good evening. I'm Kay Geiger, president of PNC Bank. We can appreciate William Anderson's leadership and vision because it's embedded in the very fabric of the Queen City that we all know and love today. As this honor suggests, his impact stretched far beyond his role as president of the Central Trust Company and into the community that he cared so much about. He truly understood the role that corporations play in building strong and vibrant communities through executive leadership in civic organizations and regional initiatives.
William Irvin Anderson, Andy to his many friends and acquaintances, may have been known as a high-profile banker in his adopted hometown of Cincinnati, but he also knew all about hard physical labor. His was a hard scrabble, up from the bootstraps kind of success story that's almost mythic. His rise to prominence could only have happened in early 20th century America. Born on Valentine's Day 1900 in a small log cabin in Sandy, Utah, Andy was the second of 5 children in the Martin and Sarah Anderson family. The land was so poor, and so was the family. By the time he was 6 years old, the family found it so difficult to survive, they traveled to Alberta, Canada, in a covered wagon to try homesteading. The days from sunrise to sunset were filled with clearing the land of rocks and trees, shocking wheat, cutting beets, working a thresher, and caring for the animals. Their lives consisted of work, and more hard work. When Andy flunked the 8th grade at the Tabor, Alberta one-room school, he decided to drop out and work the farm. When the family moved back to town in the winter, he stayed on the farm, often staying in the barn with the cows because of loneliness. The land, the harsh cold, and a drought eventually defeated the Andersons. After 6 years of homesteading in Canada, they returned to Utah and the security of nearby relatives. Andy soon decided he would rather go to school and become anything other than a farmer. Older brother Floyd agreed. From that point, it became the Floyd and Andy story. They worked extra jobs to earn the money to buy clothes and supplies for high school. In a dispute over the money with their father, they left home at ages 14 and 16, never to return. After graduating from high school, both worked any jobs they could afford to go to college and attend the University of Utah. During World War I, Andy served with the university's Student Army Training Corps. They graduated in 1922. Andy spent a year teaching at Davis County High School and also coached a fairly unsuccessful football team. He then decided that being a lawyer would be a better choice. In typical fashion, the two brothers decided that one of the best law schools would be their target. So, in June 1923, with their collective savings and their few possessions packed into an old car, they headed east to Harvard. Both walked into the school and announced they wished to attend. They were accepted, although they were charity cases from the outset. They earned their LLB degrees in 1926 and took jobs with law firms in Cleveland, but Andy soon found the law wasn't his calling and took a training position in the trust department of Cleveland's Central National Bank. He'd found his niche. One Saturday, on his way home on a streetcar, Andy was whistling The Sweetheart of Sigma Chi, and an attractive girl asked if he was a Sigma Chi brother. That's how he met his future wife, Marion Hagler. They married a couple of years later, built a house in Shaker Heights, and before too long, Andy found he was a family man with 2 daughters, Kathy and Sally. He had also become a very successful trust officer, but at Central National he was one of many in the department and faced few opportunities for advancement. By 1934, Floyd was working with a law firm in Cincinnati and told his brother that the Central Trust Company was looking for a new head trust officer. Andy interviewed, got the job. The young family packed up the car and moved to Cincinnati. The job was a good fit. Within a year, he became a vice president.
Bill Anderson, in my experience with him over many years, had a soft touch, great drive, avoided heavy conflict, and indeed was a special person. I don't know how to put it any more simply than I was privileged to know him and to understand not only what he had done, but what he looked forward to doing.
By 1945, the family had grown with the addition of 2 boys, William and Warren. With such a big family, after the war, he decided to purchase a vacation home on Grand Traverse Bay, Michigan. That became an every summer weekend work journey as he expanded and improved the property. Nearly all of this was done with his own hands. Daughter Sally Brush remembers one such project.
I'm in North Fort, Michigan right now, right sitting in front of the flagpole that Fa built almost 50 years ago. One of the things I like to think about is that he built things to last. He cut down the tallest cedar tree he could find and sunk it 8 feet in the ground to stabilize it. And now, almost 50 years later, it's as good as new.
Andy brought the idea of a community foundation with him from Cleveland, Ohio, where he'd seen its success at work. He quietly nursed the idea until he felt the time was right. By 1962, he saw his opportunity, and he found a way to make the idea a reality for Cincinnati.
Bill Anderson is a person who had a vision for a very long period of time of the value of a community foundation, and he, among all the leaders of this organization, is the one who took that spark of an idea and made it happen during the time that he was president of Central Trust. Today, the Greater Cincinnati Foundation has $425 million in assets. We are 47 years old, and the very first penny and the very first day was made possible by Bill Anderson. We are still fulfilling his vision and the mission he set for the Greater Cincinnati Foundation.
Andy was named president of Central Trust in 1960 and became chairman of the board in 1964. His tenure was marked by Central Trust's steady and solid growth. He was well liked and admired by everyone who worked with him.
He didn't overly talk. He didn't kill you with conversation. He let you talk. And people like that. And I think he was respected because people listened to his opinions. And he was a man of very few words and a very conservative investor, as the head of a trust company in Cincinnati, Ohio would be.
A man of great determination, energy, and integrity, William Anderson contributed greatly to the fabric of Cincinnati and left behind a generous legacy of service and institutions that have grown with time to become meaningful parts of our community. We welcome him to the Business Hall of Fame.